What's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's number one urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, but we're broadcasting all over the world via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. It's Women Rock Wednesday. Great day, man. It's just so much stuff going on in the news. I don't know where to start, but shout out to all my women all over the world, all the women all over the world. I mean, not just in America, all over the world. And there's a reason I said that. And because I got friends all over the world. And it's just amazing, a great day. But we like to start the day off by telling you to share the show. Share the show with your friends. Go pick up your last 5 friends you text them and say the Chop Shop's on. Send them the link and let them come in. And if they're not a subscriber to YouTube, please have them go over to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube page. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, wait a minute. Now, Uncle, you got to tell us why Penny not taking it. Of course, it's easy, Madonna. I got you. Let me talk. Let me shout out to my ladies first. The starting 5 today is Sonya Billings. Sonya, you the first person on the list. Mindy Collins, Kim Jackson, Brandon Nickerson, and Dale Griggs. I can't make this up, y'all. They right there. They right there. No men. I guess the guy said, man, I'm not going to play around with these girls today. I'm going to take a picture. Hold up, y'all. I'm going to take a picture. And I got to post this one. I'm going to take a picture of my girls. Y'all got to look. I'm going to show y'all. Y'all think I be playing with you. I took a picture. Yeah, I took a picture. I told you the screen. I took a picture. I'm going to show y'all what's going on. Let me repeat those ladies again. Our starting 5 who start off the feed. Every day we recognize our starting 5, but on Wednesday we recognize all ladies. Sometimes it be men mixed in there, but today I ain't seen it like this. Women, I'm loving this now. All women occupy the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All first 5 slots, and it's unbelievable because Kim Jackson, she took up 2 slots. Bless her heart, I love her so much. She took up her 2 slots because she's on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. We had a guy sneak in there, but I ain't gonna tell y'all who he is. But my 6th woman of the day, did I talk about Greg? I said Brandon Nickerson, Dale Griggs, Kim Jackson, Mindy Collins, Sonya Billingsley. Y'all, I'm excited. Y'all can tell I'm excited. My take Cora is the 6th lady of the day. And then we got guys coming up. We ain't worried about them today. But I love the guys anyway. What's up, Gary? What's up, Jeffrey Day is in Chicago. Marissa, I see Marissa. Jessica Brooks is in the building. Anissa Bill is in the building. If one more person send me, but thank you. I love you. And thank you, Corey. Corey, for your t-shirt. Thank you, Corey Henderson from Dallas. Field Presley's basketball camp. He sent me a couple of t-shirts. And I wore it today. Thank you. Shanquetta Pels is in the building. Nissa, somebody messing with you. Yes, Bill Cosby is free. Stephanie Holcomb. Y'all got to excuse me. I'm excited about seeing these ladies today. Stephanie Holcomb. Let me see. Let me keep going. Madonna, what's up? She want to hear about Penny. I got you, Madonna. Tamika, what's up, Tamika? Karen Thomas in the building. Guys, y'all know I ain't thinking about y'all. Let me keep going. Let me go. And Jacoby, I'm glad you're here today. Jacoby, you know you all right with me, Jacoby. Michelle Hoskins. Hey, Officer Hopkins in the building. Y'all better be good. Officer Hopkins is in the building. Who else we got? Hold up. Let me see. Okay. All right. Now let's share the show. Let's share the show, man. Let's share it right now. Happy birthday. Oh, it's Corey's birthday? I didn't know that. Which Corey's birthday today? I didn't see that one. What's up, Chris? What's up, everybody, man? I'm just so excited. I'm excited. Y'all know I'm always excited. What's up, Jay Jackson? I'm excited about Women Rock Wednesday, man, all the time. But it's just so much stuff on in the news, and I need my women to help me with it. Um, y'all know the information and the things that we're doing. We when we all the information that we gathering, uh, and the things that we're doing on this chop shop, we are set on a path. And remember, I told you to create a space where all of us join together. See, all of us join together, and sometimes I know we take it for granted. You know, people get on here and run their mouth and do all that. You know, some dude yesterday, you didn't answer my question. So, yo, this is a path. We creating a path and a space where all of us can join together. You got me? The chop shop, y'all, is a together moment. And I know some of y'all, Shanquetta, not you, but some of y'all want to get on here and be divisive. But we created this show to be a together moment. I even tell you, if you're new to the show and haven't watched the show, this is a show that we intentionally dive into the world's messiest intersection, the intersection of race, culture, sports, summer basketball, college coaching. Y'all, we get in this intersection, we sit in this intersection, we argue, we debate. But what we try to do when we get up and dust ourselves off, what's up, Crystal? We dust ourselves off and we try to make change. Some of y'all, and I done found out the more people we get, y'all, some people are just some assholes and ain't nothing you can do about it. But when I figure them out, really figure them out, I'm going to stop them from being on the show. I can push a button and stop them. Because this is a place where we created this place to bring people together. Yes, that's Soho. Who is that? Remember, that's one of the trips I went to visit my son, and we took a picture on this street in Soho. Thank you, Miss Hawkins, for recognizing that. Wow, that's a woman that traveled too much. And somebody sent me some stuff this morning. Hey, Morris. Somebody was telling me some stuff this morning. I guess it was on the Ricky Smiley show or something like that. They said people are worried about getting vaccines. I ain't gonna get this. I ain't gonna. But he said, but they'll drive a Dodge Ram through the hood with a bag of weed in the truck, expired tags, and outstanding warrants. But you don't want to take the vaccine. But you will go get your boobs done in a basement, and only form of payment is cash apps. But you don't want to get a vaccine. But you get your tattoos done by somebody with a dirty sink and a pit bull in a cage, but you don't want to take the vaccine. What's up, Kevin Allen? Y'all, let me tell y'all something. And I did not. Oh, I did do it. But hold up, y'all. I got to send this one picture to the screen. Y'all, we had we got a guest coming on today, and that guest couldn't get we couldn't get the right times to get a sound check. So just a lot of stuff just wasn't working today. So we're gonna make it happen. I told her we're gonna make magic out of it anyway. But I want to put some on the screen, and I didn't have time to prepare it, y'all. But I want to put this on the screen right now. So bear with me one moment. I got to talk about that. I put that woman on the screen for a reason. I had more pictures of it, but 26 years ago, we lost one of the most robust vocalists to ever touch a mic and Broadway beauty, Phyllis Hyman. I encourage you all to research mental health and the struggles. Uh, and on her birthday, I want y'all, I mean, on her day, I want y'all to honor her. But I want y'all to remember that Phyllis Hyman. Let me tell you something. She rock, woman rock. I got to see her. I don't know how many times in concert. Uh, Powerful voice. She just was dealing with so many demons. And read her story. Great, great story. That's why I always talk about mental health because people, we got some people just walking around. We got some people, y'all, listen. Some people come on this feed sometimes have mental health problems. So, uh, it's just something, they just they always got something to say. Always got something slick. They got something slick, but guess what? Guess what? I, ch- I challenge them. I challenge them just to do better. Go get some help. Go get some help. And then, hold up, y'all. It's Women Rock Wednesday, right? Dan Snyder, the owner everybody hates, the Washington football team. You remember he didn't want to change the name of the team to the Washington from the Washington Redskins, and now it's just the Washington football team. Let me tell you what his little button did. Let me tell you what he done did. Hey Morris, what's going on? Let me tell you what he did. He will appoint his wife as the co-CEO. Because they had a lot of problems with the Me Too movement. The guys some of the guys taking the cheerleaders on a trip. Go look it up. Taking the cheerleaders on a trip in remote location and taking calendar show and trying to hook them up with the sponsors. Oh, they had a good old boys. Y'all got to read up on that story. But guess what? He has appointed the first full-time black female coach. Okay, this team. The first black NFL team president, created a neutral gender dance squad. This Daniel Snyder has a psychologist for the players. The Washington football team is leading into a new era. And I just want y'all, hey, I'm just giving you breadcrumbs. I ain't gonna give you all up. Y'all got to go look it up. This dance, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I hate dealing with him. We had to deal with him when we was representing LeVar Arrington. We had to deal with him. One of the worst organizations to deal with, y'all. And let me go down the line, y'all. We got the Lakers to finalize a deal for to hire David Fizdale because they had an opening because Jason Kidd got the job at Dallas. So David Fizdale is in as the assistant coach at the Lakers now. And that's unique. And we'll talk about. I know she want to talk about Penny, but before I talk about Penny, I want to share something that LJ Cryer mom. She posted, y'all. LJ Cryer. I know we didn't talk about Junior Lofton. He's over in Lafayette playing with the USA basketball. But let me read you a little insert from Mika Cryer. She wrote. She said a passport arrived and he is headed to North Macedonia to play with Athletes in Action International Team, training and competing against national teams from that region. This LJ Cryer, Baylor at Baylor. Check this out. That's why I say, this is why we have to prepare our young men. Our young men are going to touch the world. People in our community are touching the world. That's why people on this feed, we got to watch that ignorant ass shit we put on this feed because our kids are touching the world. You just touching the keyboard. Our kids are touching the world. Okay? So she said, I'm a bit anxious about him traveling out of the country for the first time without me. But I had to remind myself that my parents didn't discourage me from doing the same at the young age. Yes, Mika Cryer, she went abroad and studied. She said, and now she know how they felt. She said, wishing LJ, his teammate Zach, Coach Ty, and Coach P safe travels, praying for an awesome trip, and safe return. Macedonia is not far from Greece. In case you're wondering, she found it on the map. She found it on the map. Uh, it's also near Bulgaria, Albania, Serbia, Russia, Croatia, Hungary, Poland. It's in that. It's all in that region. Okay, so shout out to our young people that are touching the world. They touching these people that grew up in this community. Grew up playing basketball right before y'all. They had highlights on this show. Now those young men are going around touching the world, man. And I'm just so proud of them. So proud of them. I got some more Women Rock Wednesday stuff for y'all. But I thought about I saw something, y'all. I just want to share with y'all. This on Women Rock Wednesday, just everyday Rock Wednesday. What's up, Trey Phillips? What's going on, Trey Phillips? I got to talk to you later. What the hell is wrong with these black college coaches talking crazy to these young women? What the hell is wrong with them? We're going to talk about them. These dudes done went crazy up there, Trey. But Trey, I was watching this young man on social media, Mindy. He's 21 years old now. I was just wanted to highlight the work being done by our young people. It's historic. Junior over there in Lafayette, LJ, Athletes in Action. I remember that. I remember that great organization. Guess what? They pray with you. They read the Bible. They do everything. I mean, for them to pick that young man. He had to be a very, very special young man. He had to be a very well-rounded young man for Athletes in Action to pick you to go on a visit overseas. I'm telling you, leadership, LJ gonna come back a different and a changed man. But like I said, I just want to highlight the work that's being done by our young people. It's historic, Jeffrey Day. We talk about Fred Hampton and Martin and Malcolm. You know, we talk about them now, but these guys were young men when they were doing all of these great things. That's why, Jacoby, I love that you on here. I wish some more Jacobys would be on here. And yes, Jacoby, yes, I got some for you, Jacoby. I promise you. All the young people, the young people run this world. Y'all got to realize, young people were on Facebook at first. It started in college. They left y'all old butt on Facebook and they went to the Gram and to the Snap and to the TikTok. They run the world. We think we run in this world, but a lot of the data for people who spend and people who market, they're marketing to young people. So I was just thinking about it. We're talking about people in their 20s, y'all. You know, I remember the Black Panthers, these college age people out there in them streets making a difference in this world and not just commenting on Facebook and commenting on somebody's page. This little young brother is doing it instead of waiting on the sidelines, waiting for the government and complaining about the government and complaining about everything. He stepped up with a program. He saw a need and he filled it. I knew about this kid months ago, but I just wanted to see how it worked out, before I give y'all this information, because I didn't know, you're never sure about people, because you don't know them. And but he was the founder of X for Boys in Albany, Georgia, where he's even been taking custody of children, starting a school, purchase buses and etc. And he had a reason why. A lot of people talk, a lot of people run their mouths, and a lot of people comment on other people's work. But this young kid, very few people actually are willing to do the work, which means getting out in them streets. And yeah, and if it's you, yes, I'm talking about you. So why did he do it, Mindy, in Albany, Georgia? First of all, Albany, Georgia is the fourth poorest city in the United States. And another point, they were the murder capital of the United States. The city is 70% black. Let me repeat that. The city is 77% black. They don't have any rehab programs for juvenile offenders in that whole Southwest Georgia. These kids just are just going to jail. He saw many of his classmates murdered and going to jail. Every time somebody died, they'd have one of these coming together meetings. Everybody putting their damn comments on the Facebook. Everybody commenting on this and commenting on this and commenting on this and commenting. He said he got tired of all that them damn meetings because they weren't doing nothing when they got out of those meetings. Oh, happy birthday, Corey Henderson. But nobody was actually doing the work to prevent these kids from doing it. No grown-ups. None of them. They just ran their mouth. This young 21-year-old boy, he's 21 now, young 19-year-old boy, he stopped going to them damn meetings and started doing some work. The first thing he did, ladies and gentlemen, it's a good time to share this show. A great time to share this show. The first thing he did was took a field trip with 20 of those young guys to Atlanta, to the Center of Civil Rights and Human Rights. He also visited the African American History Museum. 19, 21 years old. He took them to teach them about their history. LJ Jr. gonna go over there and bring something back to us that we didn't know. Young guys. On the return trip from the trip, the young men start asking him so many questions about the trip. A lot of these boys have not even been out of Albany. It's nothing but 2 hours away from Atlanta. Guess what he did, Kimberly? He taught them how to work on cars. He taught them how to do an oil change. He had the workshop at his uncle's house. He gave them certificates when they learned how to do it. The parents called back saying they were so proud of how these kids got these certificates. The kids were so proud of the certificates. The kids never got an award before in their life. It was a sense of self-confidence. Taught them how to change brakes, install ceiling fans, sheetrock, flooring. He did a summer program, y'all. He had just lost his job and he did a summer camp for the kids. Taught these kids in his dining room. Taught them about finance, taught them about history, taught them about reading, taught them about vocabulary. At 19, most people are not thinking about helping the damn people around them. Young man name is King Randall. Look him up. Let me finish. Unbelievable. I'm just thinking about this young 21-year-old boy. He wasn't tweeting. He wasn't commenting. He got to work. The men in his life that helped mold his life, he just grew up in the neighborhood. The grocer, it's a village, he said, raised him. Sometimes, parents, you can't reach your kids. Somebody else need to help them. You over there, I want to talk to my baby. I want to talk to my baby. Yeah. Don't say nothing about my baby on Twitter. Don't say that. The village raised this kid. Instead of the candy lady, Candace Hawkins, they had the candy man. They called him the pie man because they used to always get the oatmeal pies from him. The name of the school is called X for Boys. Look it up. Y'all got to realize, man, it's a lot of people in this society are making money on us having problems. We have forgotten, so we need to remember. The people in these age group, y'all, they always lead. They were always led, and we talk like young people like John Lewis got beat up in the head on the Selma. The Freedom Riders, some of them got killed. Melvin Marks, it's always been this generation. The job for you old people that's always tweeting and tweeting and running your mouth, you know what your goal should be? Is to make sure they have the resources and a platform like this. Why you think I always want young people like Kendall Jackson and these people, DJ Richards on our show? We got get out of their way and provide a platform for them. The platforms and the guidance to do more. Because they have the energy to do it. All you gonna do is type and tweet. And people are hating on him and mad at him about this. It's unbelievable, man. And listen, y'all, we have got to do better, man. I'm sitting there, y'all. It's unbelievable. I'm sitting there. I'm trying to find it. It's just so much stuff, y'all. I mean, we just got to do better. I'm sitting here thinking about. Y'all check this out. Follow me. We're gonna talk about sports, of course. We're gonna get there. I know y'all want to hear about it. All that. Yes, Women Rock wins. Yeah. Saw an article that read, and it bothered me. Hey, Kid Courier, thank you, man. I appreciate you too. I love young people our people, these young people are our future. I told you, they control this thing. They left MySpace, went to Facebook, said, forget about all y'all. We going to the gram. We going to the Snap. We going to the TikTok. But I saw something, y'all. This is the headline. Hold on, let me make sure the right. The Business Insider. BET founder, America's first black billionaire, calls for $14 trillion in reparations to bring the descendants of slaves into equality in this nation. Bob Johnson. I'm not going to read y'all what went into the article. I'm not going to read to you. Y'all go find that out. But either Bob Johnson is telling them that, because I know reporters these days are too damn lazy to do their homework. It speaks to how, y'all. I'm going to read that again. I want somebody to catch it because people still tweeting instead of listening. BET founder, Bob Johnson, this is the heading, first black billionaire, calls for $14 trillion in reparations to bring the descendants of slavery into equality in this nation. Something wrong with that damn heading, and I'm finna tell y'all why. And it speaks to how lazy these reporters are. It speaks to how you can change and shift and change a narrative within this generation. Ladies and gentlemen, ain't nobody tweeted it yet. I've been giving y'all, I know we on a 10 seconds delay. Ain't nobody found out what I said was wrong yet. Ladies and gentlemen, Reginald Lewis was the first black billionaire. The guy who wrote one of my favorite books that helped propel me. Why do white guys have to have all the fun? Owner of Beatrice International, a food conglomerate that a black man in the 80s and 90s parlayed him into a $1 billion empire. And these damn fools come and print something that our kids can read saying Bob Johnson is the first black billionaire? Hell no. And Bob Johnson need to call and tell him to retract that. These reporters are lazy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to see you. When y'all read this stuff, y'all better go get several sources before y'all read this stuff and believe it. Within this generation, we have forgotten about Reggie Lewis. He was a household name when I grew up. To this day, his wife's still giving from his foundation to help black kids all over the world. Google him. Why do white guys have all the fun? If you take a simple damn Google search and put in the first black billionaire, they're going to have him. How the hell we going to... He was on the covenant of Jet Ebony. He was a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. And to be forgotten? Hell no. Robert Haller ain't going to let him be forgotten. Notice, I ain't tweeting nobody. I'm on this platform telling my people about it. And we didn't have to wait 100 years for them to change our narrative. Now you see why they don't want us to teach us history. Shame on you, Bob Johnson, for not correcting it. Shame on Vice Magazine. Shame on the Business Insider. You're supposed to be respected outlets. All you have to do is a simple Google search. Sonia Billingsley? Sonia Billingsley, he was my hero. Reginald Lewis. He made me go out on the golf course. He made me want to come out of the streets into the suites. And they want to erase this history so your grandson, that is Moody, your son, Fort Ben Baller, your son, Ken Gamble, your kids, can't know about this man? Y'all, let me tell y'all something, man. God picked the right person at the right moment to be in this position that I'm in. Bob Johnson. Lazy sack of information. A lazy sack of misinformation that's out here, ladies and gentlemen. Go look it up. If you think don't just listen to me, go look it up. This is the same man, Bob Johnson, the same man who was cutting for Hillary Clinton and talking bad about Barack Obama. This is the same man who created an outlet, BET, to create 3 to 4 generations of black demise with his programming. So that's my opinion. It's my opinion. You don't have to agree with that. This opinion. When he had an outlet that he owned and controlled, which he sold for $2 billion, and went off and bought a horse farm, gave half the money to his wife, went off and backed a whole bunch of people who didn't have the black people interest in mind. To me, my opinion, because I've studied him, Same guy who owned the Bobcats, who sold the Bobcats to Michael Jordan. He was selfish, man. He only had his interest in mind. He was selfish. I think he was a selfish individual. I've met him before. I feel he's a selfish individual. Who also, I don't think he gave a damn about black people when he had it. And now he got the audacity to want reparations now. You know what? You know what? I think him and Byron Allen should have dinner. Somebody said this the other day. And I'll cook for y'all. And both of y'all need, and guess what I'm going to cook? I'm going to cook crow. Because them two there need to eat crow. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to take a break because I'm I got to take a commercial break. But we got to do better, man. We got to remember. And for those of you who the first time ever hearing about Reginald or Lewis on this show today, thank God bless you. Thank you. You had a guy like me. Instead of talking about the game last night, told y'all about your history. Wrong information. Darryl Barnes. Wrong information. Do a more extension. Do another extensive search. That's some stuff they don't want y'all to know. Bob Johnson is their guy now. He helps them. But go look up Reginald Lewis then, Darryl Barnes. And quit tweeting me and quit tweeting this bullshit and go look up Reginald Lewis. That's what I need you to do, Darryl Barnes. Telling me about your Google search. Ain't no telling what your ass been Googling. Google know your algorithm. Ain't no telling what you been Googling for them to bring it. Because on my computer, it brings up something else. But I know the history. I don't have to look to Google. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get on the commercial. Share the show, man. Share the show, man. In 1993, thank you, Trey Phillips. I knew somebody was going to Google it. Man, hey, man. Chop shop. We'll be back in a minute. Clap.
The Cox Prater Law Firm. Big city, big town, big settlement. Your fight is our fight. Need legal advice? You know who to call. Personal injury, wrongful death, car accidents, premise liability, serious injuries. 1-800-HURT-NOW.
Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's number one urban sports talk show. Hey man, I'm just back, man. It's just so much stuff, man. We just don't know, man. We got educated people, and it's all right. You don't know everything. Some things I don't know. The things I don't know. A lot of things I don't. I look for y'all every day. But guess what? I'm gonna. Chris Walker. It's Women Rock Wednesday. Let me give y'all something. It's Women Rock Wednesday. It was a report. Chris Walker came on the show the other day, and I'm glad it's women. Where my women at? Share the show. Where my women at? Because I learned, maybe people tune back in. We talking about sports now. People don't want to hear about nothing like that. Don't tell me nothing that will help me. Just tell me something about sports. I love sports. I understand. Becky Hammon, Chris, who was a candidate, assistant coach at the San Antonio Spurs. She is a coaching candidate for the Portland Trail Blazers. And they didn't choose her. They chose Chauncey Billups. And Chris Walker came on here. Chris Walker came on here and said he couldn't say the names of the people who were, he couldn't talk about it, but he said something about Becky Hammon. And I knew it, but Chris Walker is in a different capacity than I am. He worked for CBS Sports. I don't work for nobody. So I'm able to say what the hell I want to say about it, and I got it, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but it's news in the paper. It's news in the things that said the Trailblazers receive a less than glowing feedback from the Spurs on Becky Hammon. They say a lot of people believe that Becky Hammon, she's a woman that coached Pop. She was already a pioneer in her position. Jody Allen, Paul Allen, who used to be with Microsoft, the owner of the Trail Blazers, his wife wanted Becky Hammon because he wanted his daughter wanted Becky Hammon because she wanted a woman. She's a woman. A high-powered woman, CEO of the Portland Trail Blazers. Of course, she entertained the idea of a woman being the coach. But they didn't hire her. And they hired Chauncey Billups. So then after that, we had to start hearing about Chauncey Billups. And a long time ago, having situations where a girl was alleged rape and all that kind of stuff. They start bringing up that stuff. They didn't bring it up while he was on. He was on ABC. They didn't bring it up while he was on NBA Countdown. They didn't bring it up ever about when he was at the Clippers. He's coaching the Clippers right now. Chauncey Billups, you'll see him tonight. But they didn't talk about it then. They only talked about him. They only brought up those transgressions when, guess what? When he was up for this job. So, but me knowing people, Becky Hammon is an asshole. I know women, y'all got to hear me on this one. Y'all know how I support women and how I support my people. But let me tell y'all something. Let's be clear. I'm not pro-black. I'm proud black. I'm proud to be a black guy. If your ass ain't doing it right, I'm going to replace you, my black brother, with another brother. We can't be in business in our community and just be regular. We have to be better than everybody. Becky Hammon, you can't go down there and you talk bad to everybody in San Antonio except Pop. And everybody, you done shitted on everybody except Pop. When you, listen, women, when you put women, let me tell you something. When you be put in these positions of power, you can't be like these crazy ass men you're replacing. then you're just as bad as they are. I support the Me Too movement. I have a daughter. I have 5 sisters. But women, we got a responsibility when we in these positions of power. You can't be an asshole too. You can't lock no dude in the room and make him. You can't do the stuff that these guys was doing. Becky Hammond, you can't be an asshole and expect somebody to hire you, and then people get mad because they don't hire you. Notice I said I'm proud black. I ain't say she was wild. She just some people are just some arrogant ass, evil ass people. It's a spirit inside them. But you can't come and do that, Tiffany. Tiffany, you know, if Tiffany want to do something, if Mindy want to do something, if y'all know I'm gonna back y'all 100%, but you better be good. Somebody called me the other day for a reference. I called my guy. Oh, listen, a big dollar job. I called my dude. I said, look here, player. I got 3 of y'all in mind. Let me tell you something. You can't make me look bad. You can't make me look bad. We have to do stuff. I like stuff excellent. Y'all know when this show mess up, when the stuff I can't even control like the internet, I be mad as hell. Because guess what? I prepare every day. I have people helping me prepare every day for this show to go off without a glitch. But I know, I saw the other day, I saw last night on TNT, since y'all hold us to, I'm glad you hold me to a high standard, on TNT, do you know at the end of the game, they put the wrong score? They had the Milwaukee beating the Atlanta Hawks, and the scores was still wrong. They had Milwaukee beating the Atlanta Hawks, and the score was still wrong. It wasn't inverted, it was wrong. This on TNT with a big, I don't know how many $1 million budget. I've seen Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith being frozen in the screen. And you worried about folks freezing up in a screen? But I understand. You demand excellence. We try to give you excellence. So do me a favor, share the show. Do me a favor. I want to demand excellence. Get your friends to subscribe to the show. I talked to a guy yesterday. I met on the golf course. I sent him the link to the chop shop. Guess what he did? He said, man, let me share this with my group. I just met this man. He ain't never seen a damn chop shop. Listen, brother, I want to share this to my group so they can subscribe. Just met this man. Some of y'all been on here 5 years and ain't got. Come on, y'all. Y'all, hey, y'all. Becky Hammond. Becky. Baby, you can't go around acting like an asshole to everybody and expect, because it's Me Too time, they're going to hire me. No. They're going to find that out about your ass, Becky. Miss Becky Hammond. Hey, y'all, let me tell y'all something, man. We got to start doing stuff with excellence. Got a young cat on this show. I watch him, Gary Carter. I watch how this young kid, he wants to get it right every time. What Chris Walker said yesterday, a pilot can't get it wrong. A captain of a plane can't make no mistakes. That's how I try when we do this chop shop. I want everything to go off without a glitch. Like right now, I gotta push a button and bring Jimmy in. Guess what? We at the mercy of the internet and this system to put Jimmy in. Welcome, Jimmy. Look, we at the mercy. And he's there. Presto. What if I couldn't bring him in? Well, you couldn't bring him in. They couldn't bring Stephen A. Smith in the other day. And they got $1 billion budget, Jimmy, over there. So I'm not hearing this stuff no more, man. I'm not. But Jimmy, I ain't talking about no sports. I talked about a couple of women topics because I know you had some stuff to get off your. I know we got a guest. I don't know why because you ain't gonna have too much time because we got a guest coming on at 1. So I'll just let you shoot. I'm gonna sit back and chill. I haven't even drunk none of my tea yet because I've been talking the whole time for 53 minutes. Because I know you used to count. Now you saying, okay, it's 53. I'm letting you know it's 53 minutes. So what's going on, man?
Oh man, we got special guests gonna join us on the back nine. We can talk a whole lot of sports, but we got a couple of things to throw out there. I want to give a shout out to Byron Rim. It's official now. He's the new assistant coach at HBU. So Byron Rim comes back to Houston after being head coach at IUPUI and Prairie View A&M before then with a stop in between, I think, at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Coach Rim, that's a great addition for the HBU staff because of the fact that one thing about it, when a coach gets a job in a familiar territory, then it's easy. He's been up in the Midwest. That means now he's familiar, and don't be surprised if HBU can attract a couple of transfers that probably was on his radar beforehand. Also, we got local news. Speaking of coaching news, I think I gave you guys, I want to say the last week, did I give you guys the news about Lee Junior College? Did I tell you that?
No, I ain't heard nothing. I ain't heard nothing about Lee Junior College.
Well, in Lee Junior College, Nick Wade, he was the head coach at Angelina. He's accepted the head coaching job of Baytown Lee Junior College. This is big because this is the first black head coach of Baytown Lee Junior College basketball program. Remember, one of our longtime supporters of the Chop Shop is Councilman Charles Johnson, who's the first and only black council person in Baytown, Texas. This is great because Nick Wade is from Baytown. He went to high school in Baytown, so he gets to come home and get an opportunity to jolt a dose of energy back into that program. If you ever been to that campus, they have excellent facilities at Baytown Lee Junior College.
Hey, Nick been on the show, Jimmy. Nick been on the show, ain't he?
He's been on the show before.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been on the show when he first got the Angelina job.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, like I said, it's good because he's going home. And he's familiar with Region 14, which is the junior college division that has Angelina, used to have San Jack, Baytown Lee, Lamar State, Port Arthur, Blinn and the rest of those guys. Well, so now that opens up Angelina for a head coaching gig for somebody, of course, who wants to go and take it. Now, the thing about junior college life, you got to get it out the mud. They ride no
Jimmy. It's okay. Jimmy, you were in junior college before. It's okay. It's okay. Some people need to get it out of the mud.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but nowadays, a lot of people may not understand most junior college gigs are paid less than the high school coaching gig. Because as a high school coach, you're getting paid as a teacher, and your coaching is only a stipend. Mm-hmm. The stipend is going to be somewhere, probably if you're good and lucky, you're going to get $5,000 to $7,000 in basketball. If you're good and lucky with a good district.
Yeah, that's extra. That's extra money.
That's the
Yup.
stipend. Yeah, but you think about it and you break it down, how the basketball season goes from you start practice in October.
Yeah.
So that means you're obligated to be there, starting to practice till the day the season ends around Valentine's Day. Right? So that's about what, 5 months? Right? So 5 months, breaking that down, 6 days a week, because they practice on Saturdays, in most cases, for $7,000. That's about, guys, that's about $850 a month. Basically, what those high school coaches
Boy,
are
you
getting on
always
the
in the
average.
phone. I think it's admirable.
No, well, no, you know what happens when you break it down like that? Then people will understand. Well, man, that coach don't want to take his team to Dallas, to the TABC.
All the people who talking about he should get fired for not
Well,
taking his
understand.
team,
That's
and they wanted
this
you
is
to
all
agree
they
with them
make.
yesterday too. They
This is
wanted you to
all.
agree.
This is all. Huh?
They wanted you to agree with. You didn't still. You never answered my question, Mr. Hicks. Shouldn't they get fired, Mr. Hicks?
Oh, they shouldn't get fired. I told explain it. Everybody has their own reasons for not doing it. Now, guess what? And I gave you guys that yesterday. Go back and watch yesterday's show. You want to know exactly my thoughts on that. But in regards to what these junior college coaches make, it's not what you may think. It really ain't, man. So that's why most junior college assistant coaches are either single or have no kid, no baby, no small baby kids at home. Most of them, because they can. It takes countless hours of driving through the highways and through in the dark, in the middle of the night, going here, going there. That way, now a guy who's either single, or have no kids at home to be able to get prepared for school the next morning. Those guys, it's hard to go into junior college life. Really is. So I want to get that out there. Give a shout out to Coach Wade for his new endeavor and taking over at Baytown Lee. So this is what it means. Unsigned seniors out there. Grassroots coaches who have unsigned seniors. Unsigned seniors who are ranked by somebody, probably in the top 50, top 60. This is an opportunity. This Baytown Lee has to field an entire team. Everybody left the team last year under Ron Champagne because of COVID. They gave everybody the option. They didn't leave him. They gave everybody the option because they didn't have a basketball season. Didn't know one until later on. And at that time, they'd already told everybody to go home. That mean they can go elsewhere. So if you have a player, then you can contact Coach Wade and ask him, when is the next tryout? When is the open gym? Do you think, here's my resume on basketball resume on this young man. Do you think you could use him? Understand, junior college isn't just for guys that don't have good grades. If this student athlete has good grades, let it be known. Here's his transcript, coach. He can help your team. You know, he has coach written all over him in 5 years from now. Maybe come as a grad assistant. You know, maybe as a grad assistant.
Yeah.
So
our guest is on, but keep going, Jimmy. Our guest in the dressing room getting the makeup and all that's done. So yeah.
Getting piled up, huh?
Yeah, they sit in the green room. They sit in the green room.
And so now also we're going to talk about tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We may touch on it a little bit today with our guests, maybe. But I would be remiss if I did not mention how disappointed I am again with the NCAA and their decision to go and slam dunk one of our young black assistant basketball coaches in the Division I ranks. This time, Corey Barker, who's from H-Town.
Yeah.
He has a 5-year
show call.
No show.
Yeah.
No show basically means what, Al?
You can't have it. You can't have a job. You can't get a job at the Division I level. They can't nobody hire him till he show cause or why this didn't happen or something like that. I guess it's something like that. It's kind of it's a man. It's let me tell you something, man. And guess what? Our guest She probably versed in that. We probably be able to talk a little bit more extensive about it. But it's a shame. It's a shame. So I got a question. So he was at TCU. So the head coach, I thought the head coach, don't they supposed to have institutional control? So the head coach, all he does is get on probation. The school's on probation. What happens to the head coach? Nothing. Huh?
Well, I mean, this is cute. This is the right cue to bring in our guest right now.
Okay, we're bringing we bring her in. We can bring her in. Jimmy, I didn't even want to talk about this today because I love that kid, man, Corey Barker. And I'm going to get emotional about this. So I'm going to let y'all talk about it. So welcome to Miss Angela Williams Coach Williams to the stage. Let me see, can I click in? Y'all pray for me. Let me see. That's you. We trying to work it out, Ange. I mean, I know we go. Ange, do me a favor, Ange. Do me one favor. Go out, go off, and come back on. No. Sit back down. Hit the red X button, cause I want you. You're a little fuzzy. I want you to X out of the feed. You know, hit the stop or hit this red, whatever the button is. What color is the button?
Plug driveway and come back in.
What color?
Should I plug it into a hard drive versus Wi-Fi? Would it be clearer if you did that?
No, you're all right. You maybe you might clear up. You sound good, but you're so pretty. I want everybody to see you. A little fuzzy around there. You feel me? And I don't want everybody to be talking about, man, I couldn't see her that good. Because we got some thirsty guys on this show. They thirsty. How do you got to turn up? You got to turn it up. I got to be able to see her. It's unbelievable. But Jimmy, welcome to the chop. Wait a minute, not welcome to the chop. You've been to the chop shop before.
Yes.
And you got one of my favorite players that played in the NCAA tournament that happens to live with you part-time when he's not at school.
Part-time now.
Yeah, part-time. So talk, what's going on? Welcome back on Women Rock Wednesday. You rock, you look good, everything. I got
Thank you.
And what's going on? Talk to me.
Everything's going on. I'm trying to enjoy the summer now because I've had a lot going on this year.
Tell me what you've been having going on. You know the next question. What you've been had going on?
Well, out here at Prairie View, we've actually had 3 silver tours with professional athletes that actually went off very, very well. We also hosted the Big Ten. Because of the pandemic, the Big Ten needed somewhere to compete, and they chose Prairie View, the track and field campus, and absolutely loved it. And of course, we hosted the Prairie View Relays, and we could not compete indoor because of the pandemic. We had to, certain schools that we would normally compete at were restricted, and they could only compete against each other. So we actually hosted 3 outdoor meets for indoor, and we dueled with TSU. We had some professional athletes out here, and I think those meets prepared us to win the indoor SWAC championship for the women this year.
Hold on. I got something for you on that one. Hold on. But no, I've been hearing a lot. Angie, I forgot that was you. I didn't connect that to you, and I'm mad because y'all got glowing remarks from everybody all over the country. The Big Ten, they were talking about how great y'all facilities were.
Yeah, our facilities are great, and they're still growing. We still have some work to do, but when people come out to Prairie View, they're like, wow, their jaws drop, because I don't know what the expectation is. I really don't. Right. But whatever it is, we exceed it every time they come out because they're in amazement of the facilities and how well kept they are. And they love being here. Yes. Yeah. So I expect that not only the Big Ten, we hosted Nigeria, Canada, Trinidad and Tobago, some Jamaican athletes, Antigua and Barbuda. We hosted a lot of people here that had never been to this campus, and now they want their athletes on this campus.
And Jimmy, I know you got some, but Angie, I'd be remiss. What are those Jamaicans taking? Angie, you know, and I know you're tracked, but Angie, let me tell you something. They can't be that fast every year and beat everybody. Angie, I know it's political. You can't. Angie, they doing something that whatever they doing over there. Some is going on over there. They winning everything.
Well, I mean, what you have to look at right now, training has changed.
Okay.
If the athletes of my day
Uh-huh.
have some of the equipment, the track surfaces, the shoes,
Uh-huh.
all the different things that have changed over the years that the athletes have today,
Uh-huh.
you would see some of the things happening back then that's happening now.
Okay.
We've come a long way technologically and
Okay.
and even physically
Okay.
with training.
Okay.
They have access to a lot of things that we did not have access to before.
But I'm talking about the Jamaicans got more access to stuff than we got over here. Let me. We ain't.
Yeah.
Them Jamaicans.
No,
Come on, I've been to
not in
Jamaica.
that way.
Huh?
Not in that way. Here's what I understand that Jamaica has done.
Okay.
You will find that a lot of our foreign athletes will come to the United States to train. What some of the islands and other countries have done now is they're keeping their athletes home and they're training them at home. So now they're not going across the water to train with other people. They're staying at home and they're building their programs. And that may be the difference in what you're seeing with other countries competing as they are because their athletes are at home and their coaches are at home working with them.
Okay. Jimmy, I'm sorry. I
How does, in a nutshell, how does Jamaican, professional track athletes take us through the educational process as far as income? How, I mean, we know they have endorsements. Just give us an example how they make a living. So if you don't have no endorsements, you don't make no money. Do you have appearance fees? Do they get prize money from third place, second place,
Yeah.
first place? How does
Yeah.
it work on the revenue stream?
It shifted from when I was competing. So when I competed, you have an agent. Your agent gets a certain percentage of your money, but first you have to be good enough to be able to compete. And most of your track meets are in Europe. Track and field in Europe is like football here, or even basketball here. So the stands are filled, 70, 80, 60, 70, 80,000 people come to see you run. So when a meet promoter is putting on a meet, they want to announce in lane one, Olympic silver medalist from Jamaica, this person. In lane two, from Barbados, Olympic world champion. So they want to fill those lanes because those people are who are bringing the people to the stands to make the money. So your agent would negotiate your fee, and you get your fee win or lose. So that's one way. So you don't need endorsements. So you can technically be in Europe 9 months out the year and make a living because there's so many different places from Italy to France to Czechoslovakia to Turkey to Hungary to everywhere. There are track meets and you get paid for that. That's one way that professional athletes make money. The second way is a shoe company. If you're considered top 5 in the world, like a Ting Mo, I think she just signed $1 million contract. She is like the number one runner right now in track and field. She went to Texas A&M. She's a freshman. She just turned 19 years old, and she has records from everything from the 600 to the 1500. She has just about every collegiate record in her event. And she just ran the fastest time in the world at the Olympic trials a couple of days ago. So now you would have a shoe contract. Let's take someone like her. You get a shoe contract. You have to run. So she has that $1 million. In that contract, you may have minimum races that you have to compete in. So they will then tell you what meets you have to go to, and you compete in those meets. You still get your appearance fee. So back in the day, if you were number 1, number 2 in the world, I heard your appearance was about $40,000 per meet. So if you do 10 meets outside of your contract, you're making your additional money for your appearance to be in that meet, win or lose. And so that's how you make your money as well, outside of endorsements. And the other way that you can make money as a professional athlete is now your agent can get you into meets. There's a purse from first to sixth. and now you try to win your money that way. You have to cover your travel, your hotel, your everything else. And once you line up in that meet, if you want to win the 5,000, if that's the top purse, you got to win it, all the way down to maybe $1,000. So now you could set your schedule to see how much money you can make throughout that year, indoor and outdoor.
So if you lose, boy, yeah, that's a lost trip. I mean, that
That's a
hotel.
lost.
Wow.
That's you paid for that. That's a lost trip, and that's the way it is now.
And a lot of those trips are overseas.
They're overseas.
And
Yes.
that's those. I've been looking at them tickets. They kind of high.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Jimmy, I'm sorry. What else you have, Jimmy?
I mean, that's good. Is that it? Those are the two main.
That's basically the gist of it. Because some shoe companies, you may see people running in Nike or Adidas or New Balance or Puma, but shoe companies will just give you clothing.
Yes.
They don't just, you're not getting a salary from them. So yes, I'm running for Nike or Adidas, but I'm trying to earn money. So now my goal is to make an Olympic team, a World Championship team, a Commonwealth Games team, a Pan Am team, a NACAC team. The more teams you make and the higher you place, now a shoe company can look and say, okay, you've earned some money. Here you go.
What happened? I got to ask this quick. What happened? Allison Felix had a big breakup with Nike. She was
Well, there was, and I don't know what was in her contract, but for women, when we get pregnant, you lose your money, basically.
Oh, so that's in the contract.
That's basically how it's been for women, because you're not competing in track and field. You're not guaranteed that money just because you decide to become a mom. So from what I understand, Allison tried to negotiate that, she would have whatever coming back from being a mother. And they were like, no, thank you. And so she has done her thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's not just her. There was another young lady that ran the 800, and she took off because she was having her child, and she was struggling with Nike, but her voice wasn't big enough. Allison's voice is big enough, and so she doesn't even run track anymore because of that. So I can't. If I take a year off, I'm basically unemployed if I have a contract with a shoe company. Yeah.
Hey man, that ain't fair. Y'all doing some of the best things. Y'all procreating the world. And pregnancy is one of the best things that God ever did, and they penalizing you for that. Now, let me tell you something. Now, you know what? I used to hear it on TV, but the way you just said it, when we get pregnant,
yeah,
I don't like that. So in my
now you find a lot of women complete their entire career and then they start their family.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. That you got to tell your husband, hey man, you can't get you got to use a condom tonight, buddy. We ain't missing out on this money. Oh my God, that's not right.
You see how freaky he is? See what I'm talking about?
No.
Look, that dude over there.
Hey.
And you seen it.
I can imagine that going on. Hold up. You got this fine wife that got all of this, all of that, and you, Jimmy.
Well, he's going to have to work that year that she's pregnant, and then you got to recover from it.
I'll go work. I'm going to go work. I'm going to say, baby, I get 12 jobs. I'm sorry.
You got to make that money up.
Okay, yeah. I got you. Come on, Jimmy. My bad, man.
And we have right now, before we go too far, we have a lot of the viewers. If you have questions, you just tune into the Chop Shop. We have head women's track and field coach at Prairie View A&M University. Angela Williams is live with us on the Chop Shop. Women rock. We see her rocking her stuff right there. I see it. You know, wrong color. It look better if it was burgundy.
I like that color. I like that color. They homecoming way better than y'all's now. Good. Now, how about that?
Hey, people ain't going to school for homecoming.
Yes, I go there for homecoming.
And everybody comes here for homecoming.
We both go there for homecoming. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, that's right. He was with me.
I might even wear a purple shirt next time I go. Have someone popping down there. I ain't lying.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
I got one for both of y'all. I got one for both.
Yeah, sir.
I
They gonna
have
say,
them too.
yeah.
Now,
And the
now this past weekend,
Uh-huh.
I got a chance to
yeah.
chop it up a little bit with Byron B. Smith, the
Okay.
head men's basketball coach at Prairie View, and up in DFW, he was up there with the with the TABC
Oh,
showcase, evaluating some players, and his assistant coach is with him as well. Also, I've been knowing Byron for a couple of decades, almost 3 decades, and no, he's still actively a pretty good hooper, and he self-proclaimed, and he's the best basketball playing
Coach.
college Division I college coach in America, as it stands right now. That's what he claims. Now, understand,
He can
there's
ball.
guys like Penny Hardaway and all them. He's saying Byron is saying like right now, if they were to play a game, of the gentleman one-on-one rules. They have one-on-one gentleman rules. How do you know that? Take the
Yeah.
ball back, top the key.
Yeah.
So Byron claims that he whoop anybody. Now
mm,
he's
wow.
active in the practices with the players. You are an Olympian,
Jim,
right?
I know where you're going. Leave her alone. She ain't finna run against them young girl.
And my question was when the last time that you got out there and you tried to one of them young girls might try to buck you and you bucked her, or you tried to buck one of them and say, girl, come here. You know what? Let me show you something. Get your ass down these blocks right now. Let me show you, put you in your place. When is the last time, what year was it that you tried one of them girls?
Don't have to do that. Here's the thing about track and field. Time proves itself. So what I ran is what I ran. I don't have to come out there and put shoes on to prove anything to you.
Ooh. Hey, Jimmy. Get what she said.
So
Check the stats.
That's a snap. That's a finger snap thing right there.
Yeah, in 2 circles.
Don't have to prove, don't have to get on the track, get in the blocks, don't have to do it, because if you haven't run as fast as I have when I was in my prime, I don't need to do it out of my prime to prove that you can do something.
I'm going to use that one, and in some way in business, I'm going to use that. When he's do, I'm going to use, dude, I like that. She said, check the clock, young lady.
Because too, in track and field, your entire body has to be in shape at all times to be able to do what you do. Right. I can't go out there and I haven't done a workout and say I'm about to run a 50 or 100 or anything else, because if those muscles haven't been prepared for it, I'm embarrassed myself. So you have to be in shape when you take on those challenges. Now, if Byron says to somebody, I'm the best 3-point shooter, he could have a broke ankle. As long as he can stand in that 3-point line and put that shot up, he can show that he's a good 3-point shooter. If he can dribble and go with you one-on-one, he can have a bad hamstring and still go out there and do it. In track, you cannot play like that, because you will get hurt everywhere in your body if you try to do something like that.
Guess who I done fell in love with?
That's why the times and the distances show it for themselves.
Guess who I done fell in love with? That little Jakari Richardson. She said, don't call her Jakari. It's Jakari.
She loved it here at Prairie View.
Huh? She what?
She competed here at Prairie View.
No. Oh, my God.
And Trey, she was here for 2 weeks. The whole Dennis Mitchell is her coach, and his group was here for 2 weeks. And they came down and trained and competed and loved it.
I know.
Getting ready for the Olympic trials.
Is she that good? Can she run faster? Yeah. You think she can run faster?
I think so. I think when they line up at the Olympic Games, and you bring the young lady from England and the Jamaican girls and anyone else from any other country, the thing about sprinting and the thing about running is you run your race in your lane, but if that pace is a little bit faster, once you get into a zone, you won't even realize you're in that zone and you're going to go faster. So you execute your race. And if you execute your race next to somebody who's in, let's say you're in 4 and they're in 3 and 5, and you execute your race a certain way, once you come out of your drive phase, and I'm using 100, you come out of your drive phase kind of based on where they are too. You know where you should be on the track. Once you come out of your drive phase and you know where your acceleration is, and she has great second top end speed. Once she comes out of her drive phase, you see the separation. And so, yes, I think she can go faster. I honestly do. Because she hasn't run a lot of races in her life.
I heard.
She ran well in high school.
Uh-huh.
She ran collegiately for 1 year, and
Mm-hmm.
then she went pro.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the pandemic last year where there weren't any meets really.
That's right.
And so her legs are fresh. A lot of your athletes' legs are fresh. And that's why you're seeing them running the way that they're running also, because
Uh-huh.
some of your high schoolers, they actually got to rest. And when you get that kind of rest and recovery, and then you go back and shift and start training, you get better.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
Jim,
think she can go faster.
I wish I could go to Tokyo, but you know that COVID is bad over there. I'm not going nowhere near that.
I was in Japan last year. No, they had masks on last year when I was there with the World Junior team. So no, the World Relays team. So yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm good on going. I was in Japan, not in
I
so
watch it on
I'm
TV.
good.
I watch it on
I'll watch it
So,
on TV.
Jimmy. What
what's
you got?
what are your thoughts on this year's track and field team, the USA, that are representing the USA that are going, and specifically the young lady from South Oak Cliff, uh, by way of LSU, Shakara,
That's
what
who
her
we
name
just got
is?
you talking about, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Shakiri,
yeah.
Shakiri, yeah,
Jakari.
Shakiri
I'm talking
Richardson.
about and the
Uh,
team as a whole.
Oh,
I mean, we mentioned
yeah.
her, but what's your thoughts on the team as a whole? What are you predicting this team would do?
A friend of mine, and actually he's going to be one of the Olympic coaches. We were talking and looking at the Olympic trials. It's a changing of the guards. You have
Mm.
the younger ones that are now competing and doing great, and so your older athletes who are in their early 30s, you shift out because a track and field athlete, you find that they hit their prime between 25 and 28. And so you
Okay.
have your younger athletes now that are doing really well. They're coming into their own, and I look at it as the changing of the guards now with the athletes that are competing, not just in America, but in all countries. You find that there are younger athletes that are competing well.
And so the changing of the guard, has it always been like that for the 25 to 28-year old range, or pretty
Yeah.
much?
Yeah, pretty much. When you see someone in their 30s competing, you may see an injury because your muscles then aren't able to sustain what you're doing. Your distance runners tend to last longer. Unless they've had shin splints and joint issues and stuff, your distance runners are similar to swimmers. They can last a lot longer. And you also see sometimes where an older sprinter may move up to a longer event because it's less wear and tear on the muscles. So that happens. Yes, you'll see the shift if you go back 4 years, the last Olympics, and another 4 years, because the Olympics come around every 4 years. It's not like you guys get to see these athletes on a regular basis.
that's right.
And so when you see an athlete in 2012, depending on the age that they are in 2012, how old were they in 2016? And have they shifted? Allison Felix is one of the ones that has been able to sustain age 18, and now she's 35, I believe. So now you're seeing where there's a shift from where she is to where others have now caught up to her and at the age that she was, and they're doing well.
Jimmy, we got a
Now,
couple of questions for her. Unless you gonna,
oh, we got a couple of questions for you,
yeah.
and
One
and of
question
course,
is,
toss them
you,
to her.
well, Coach Williams, why didn't Mu? That's like they get call her Mu. What's her name?
A Ting Mo,
Mo. Why
a
didn't Mo
Ting
run?
Mo.
Yeah, why didn't Mo run? You just talked about her earlier, but why didn't she run in the 400 meters in the Olympic trials?
The Olympic Games schedule does not allow her to do that double.
Oh,
So even though she could do it in the trials, it's not an event that she can contest at the Olympic trials. They're back-to-back events.
oh. I just love
Yeah.
talking to you.
Oh,
Is
so
is
that,
the
and of
four?
course we have
Yeah,
another question from Trey Phillips,
okay.
and he asked, when you're recruiting the student athletes, do you mainly go by the time to determine if they're good enough for you, or do you they have to pass the eye test, or both?
Well, and that's an excellent question. For us, time, distance, height, those are what matters in track and field. The you can look at a person, and it's a scholarship base. I
Uh-huh.
can look at a person and say, I can get you to this point. based on what I see and how you've done with the numbers. But in order to get a scholarship to college, you have to have hit those numbers, because when you give a kid a scholarship, it's not based on potential. It's based on what you're able to do coming in the door for this program. So if I want to win, and I'm in the Southwest Athletic Conference, if I want to win a SWAC championship, I know in every event where I need my athlete to be for us to get on that podium and get that trophy. So I know you won't make it to the finals in a 200 on the women's side if you don't run 24 flat or better. So I can't give a 26 a scholarship based on potential. I don't know how long it's going to take that person running 26 to come to 24. I don't know their training ethics. I don't know their body. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get you there. So I don't have the luxury to play around and say, well, I can move you to this position or move you to that position. You're a sprinter. So I need you to be able to run 24 or better to get on that podium. So for me, top 3, we negotiate a full scholarship, because you're coming in as a high school athlete to be able to get on the podium top 3 your freshman year. 4th through 8th, you get a partial scholarship, but that ends at like 24-3, 24-4. Now, a 2,400 meter runner should be able to get to 23 in that first year because they have that foot speed. But there's a lot that happens in kids' freshman year. They meet guys, they want to have a boyfriend, they want to party, they drink, they might decide I want to experiment with other things, and the sport doesn't become as important as being a college student. And so freshmen go through it becomes almost like a job to them, and it's no longer fun. So when you come in track and field, you have to eat, breathe, and sleep it, because the training that you have to go through to become a solid track and field Division I athlete, to go to NCAA and help your school win a school championship and try to win an NCAA championship, is a lot of work. And some don't want to do the work.
I got a question. Of course, you just tuned in. This is Coach Angela Williams. She's the head women's track and field coach at Prairie View A&M University. I mean, she's world-renowned, world-class before, then, and after the fact of her track running days. Everybody knows Angela. Trust me that. Now, as a college coach, you mentioned some of the kids get into other things and they're getting swayed off the road a little bit. What are some ways, because a lot of parents may be a little bit naive, and some in regard to their kids, and some may see it, but they ain't paying attention. What are some ways as a coach that you could tell that little Sarah been out there partying or swaying off the road and what she's supposed to be doing, other than the obvious of her not being on time? But what are some of the obvious things? I mean, some of the things that as a coach, how you can tell?
When our freshmen move in, and I've seen this, I come to all the freshmen move in, and you have those who can't wait for their parents to leave. Once they move in, they're antsy. They cannot wait for their parents to leave, because the freedom that they're about to get is something that they may not have had. So I sometimes say to parents, your kids should be able to be out there and explore before they come to college. Because if you keep them in a box and you keep them tight, and I've seen some kids that they may have been and going to church and they haven't been allowed to do this and they haven't been allowed to do that. And sometimes they fall the hardest, because once they get that freedom to be able to make those decisions, once you close that dorm room door and there's nobody there, are you here? Did you do this? Did you do that? And it's you. They don't know how to manage that responsibility. So I have rules. I watch to see if they follow the rules. I watch to see if they try to go around and circumvent the rules. I don't micromanage them. I give them the freedom to be able to do things, to see how they can manage it. And I have conversations along the way. I also have what I may call spies. My upperclassmen look out for my underclassmen. And they take on the initiative to go and talk to them and tell them what the pitfalls are in college track and field, in college, period. So they may have meetings on their own and say, hey, listen, A, B, C, D. They don't come back to me and tell me everything, but they will say to me, Coach, you got some issues that you need to address. And I'm able to address those issues, not one-on-one with the student athlete, but in a group so they can self-identify and try to figure out, how do I fix this? Because she's talking directly to me without talking directly to me. I also don't implement curfews because I'm trying to get you to self-impose the curfews on yourself. To check yourself when it comes to what time you're going to hang out, if it's 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Because when you come to my practice, I check roll every day. So if you were up drinking last night and you throwing up today, you're going to finish this workout. You don't get the luxury of saying, I'm not feeling good or this or that or the other, and get out of the workout. Plus, the ones that are in the trenches already know where you were. So I'm going to know that you weren't doing what you were supposed to be doing. So I have ways of just looking at it and figuring it out. The other thing I do is I keep a close connection to the parents in their freshman year. The parents know their kids better than I do. So I may have some questions that I ask the parents, and the parents can enlighten me on their kid so that I know how to move when it comes to their kid, because they know them best. I don't go back and tell the parent your kid is doing this because we got HIPAA laws that we have to follow. But I do keep a close connection with my student athletes' parents. And after that, probably the first 6 months or so, it's a wrap because the kid knows what's going on. The parents know what's going on. They figure out where they need to be in line and they do it. Now you have some that come in that feel like, well, you need more than me more than I need you. And I tell my student athletes, I would rather lose a championship without you than win it going through the bull that you're going to put me through. So you're suspended. If you're not taking care of your grades, you are suspended. Go meet with your professor. We have everything in place here for you to be successful. You are not just here to be a track and field athlete. You're here to get a degree. And so I have certain things in place that help me check them and help them check themselves. And then they have to come to me and say, you know what? I'd rather be a student. This is just too hard. And when they do that, the understanding is you are in an athletic scholarship. So now you have to find your way on paying your way because you signed up. And I look at a scholarship as a job. Every college campus that is paying your way each year is paying you a salary. And if you choose to pull yourself out of that salary by not passing your classes, not going to practice, getting in trouble and everything else, then you got to go find another job. Because if I'm paying $56,000 a year for you, there's some things that come along with it for you, and there's some things that come along with it for me. But what some of them do is they'll try to play it along the way. Well, I want to get this scholarship, but I really don't want to do this sport. And you expose yourself. So I find ways, and I won't give all my secrets out there. How I figure it out, but it's a cat and mouse game with student athletes, and it shouldn't be. But if parents and potential student athletes looked at this more as a business, which is what it is, I think it will work out better. But they look at it as, I'm this great athlete and you want me and you're going to put up with everything that I do. When you go out in the world and you do that with your boss, you might not even have a pink slip. You're going to have a text. Thank you for your services. And so that's the way it needs to be looked at. And that's the way I look at it.
I got something for you. You know, an epiphany just popped up. On Women Rock Wednesday, I always talk about women that rock. And let me tell you something, you rock. But you know what's so unique? I talked about one of your student athletes on this show. I didn't get it because somebody texted to me and she had a testimony. But on her Twitter, I don't have her whole name, but on her Twitter,
Catherine Jackson?
Huh?
Catherine Jackson.
What's her whole name? Tell her to put a whole name on her Twitter when you talk to her. But she had me crying reading this testimony.
Catherine Jackson.
She was home. Yeah. I'm gonna rehash it a little bit. You don't have to go. But people who didn't see that show, young girl said track at Prairie View saved her life. Angela Williams, you saved a young girl's life. She
Well, that's
said
what we're
this.
here
Huh?
for.
Huh? Say it again?
That's what we're here for. I'm not here for track and field only. This is
Yeah.
about life. This is about giving young women and young men an opportunity to find their way through sports if they want it. So I don't look at you as just somebody that's coming in and giving me points.
Right.
But I expect once I make this commitment to you, you make the commitment to yourself. And Catherine made the commitment to herself. Yeah.
I was so proud of her. I put her pictures all over the screen. I mean, I told you, I didn't connect it with you. I should have knew something was going on. I should have knew. I didn't know, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Not that you're leaving, but I'm telling you now that when I see a young lady, I don't see that much. She said she's not the testimony type. She didn't know
No,
whether or not she should do it or not. But she had to
no.
let the world know what y'all did for her up there, man. And a shout out to you, Prairie View University.
You know, she called me.
Uh-huh,
She called me right after graduation,
uh-huh.
and she was on the phone crying, and she had me on the phone crying, and she said, "Coach Williams, you know, I just want to tell you." And her mom is a wonderful woman.
Yes.
She just wanted to say, "You made my 4 years there something special." She didn't go into all that occurred with her, but she
Yeah.
said, "You were like a second mom.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
made sure you treated me like if I was your daughter, and you helped me survive." And college campuses in general is not easy to survive.
Right.
It
Okay.
is not easy to make it on your own. I don't care if it's a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution, or HBCU.
Right.
Going to college is
A grind.
an eye opener. Going to college is a growth process. Going to college, you have to learn how to navigate through life. And you find out about who you are in college, to me. And that's the place and the space that you go to figure out who you are. And you gonna run into some bumps in the road, some people that come in sheep's clothing, you know, that you think they're good and they're not good. And I tell my freshmen every year, I tell them on the visits when they come to see me, you should not in your first year or two consider somebody, this is my friend. You don't know them. You don't know me. You need to stay connected to the people that you've had in your life for a long period of time, and gradually allow people in your life. But what some of these freshmen do is they meet up at freshmen. Oh, that's my best friend. And you tell them your business. And by the third week, you walking down the street and all your business is on the street because you don't know that person and a relationship didn't work out. So you have to give it time. And so each one of my athletes, I kind of put them in a bubble, and I say to them, your parents have entrusted you to me. I have DJ and I have Nevaeh, and y'all know my two children. And I would want someone to take care of my kids as I take care of them. So I look at everybody who entrusts their children with me the same way. Now, some parents may think there's something else going on here, or they may say that something is unfair. Most of the time when a parent says something is unfair when it comes to their child, at least with me, is because their child hasn't done what they were supposed to do and they have now lost their scholarship, or I've removed them from the team. But it takes a lot for me to do that. So I respect my athletes. I treat them as young, beautiful women, and I challenge them to treat each other with a level of respect, whether they like each other or not, that will transcend them beyond where they are.
Well spoken and well said. Of course, guys, this is a perfect time for you to share the show right now to your timelines, to your groups, to your pages. Give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Boom, boom, boom. This is the perfect time for it. There's somebody that's one of your friends or one of your followers that could get and need to receive these gallant words that Coach Williams is speaking right now. Now, want to toss a couple of questions from a couple of our viewers, and they've asked, and I bundle a couple of them together. And the first one is where we going? I lost my.
Well,
I
Angie,
lost the
Dorsey.
I
Oh,
think
here we go.
middle
Right here. Here we
school.
go.
Oh
So
my God.
Dorsey. I'll put that up on the screen for you.
Oh my God. Ali Middle School was when I retired from track and field in 96. I moved here in September. Ali Middle School was my first teaching and coaching job. I was there for 6 years, and Milton was one of my colleagues that was there for the entire time. Hey, Milton, how are you?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So you was an A-Leaf person when you first got here.
I was an A-Leaf person when I first got here. Then I went to Fort Bend, and now I've only had 3 jobs in Houston.
Okay.
Ali Middle School, Thurgood Marshall High School, and Prairie View A&M University.
Oh, what else you got, Jimmy? I got some questions. Jimmy, you know I got it when you finish. I got some questions.
Yeah, we'll talk. I bundled 2 together. One from Thaddeus up in Chicago, and he asked, "Who were your idols growing up? Who's your biggest rival in the SWAC?" And also, Lil Rick asked, "Why do some runners seem to go a little faster in the relays than when they're doing open races?"
Oh, let me tackle the relays first.
Okay.
And you have a lot of people that want their athletes recruited, and the first thing they'll say, we went to state on a 4x1, 4x2, 4x4. First thing, I don't recruit relays. I can't tell, even if I look at that athlete, what that athlete is going to do for me as an open athlete, because a relay runner mentally is not an open runner mentally. When you line up in that lane by yourself and you have to say what you're going to be able to do, the level of confidence that you have to have transcends beyond a relay. When you're on a relay, you know 3 other people are relying on you. And so, or you can rely, even if you don't run well enough, you know ankle leg got you, you know third leg has you, you know first leg has you. So you're not going to be the way that you need to be in a relay as you need to be as an open athlete. So, and then we're talking about splits. Your split might be from 90 meters on a 4x1. Somebody else might split at 80 meters. Somebody else might split at 100 meters. The splits are off. So you might say to me, this kid ran 11.1 on a relay split, but they running 12.5 in an open race. 12.5 is what that athlete can run. It's not 11.1. The other thing about relays is just because you ran on a relay in high school does not mean you have made a relay team in college. You have to earn that. That is not a given right. So relay running is easier when it comes to coaching in high school because you have a better shot of making it to state. The points are double. So instead of getting 10 points for first place, you get 20. So the points are double. And so you use your athletes on relays because it's almost like the easiest way to get to state. Individual events is tougher. And that athlete has to be tougher. And that's my take on it. Somebody else may look at it differently, but that's how it is on relay running. What was the other part of that question?
What's the other question, Jimmy?
The other one was, who was your idol growing up? And who's your biggest rival in the SWAC?
Biggest rival in the SWAC, the biggest competition that I've had to overcome is Alabama State. And when I came to Prairie View in 2007, there are 10 teams in the conference. Prairie View, indoor, outdoor, and cross country had averaged 9th or 10th at conference championships for 21 years. And I had not researched Prairie View. Someone reached out to me and asked me if I would give them my resume. I wasn't looking for a job. I wasn't looking for a coaching job at Prairie View when I got the job. So once I got here, I started looking at what things were. And so other schools had been established with their recruiting and their athletes and things like that. So I had to kind of start at the bottom building this program. And Alabama State has been able to win most of your indoor, outdoor, and some of the cross-country championships on the men and women's side. And there's a lot of things that go into that. The schools in Texas, our tuition, TSU as well as Prairie View, and we're the only 2 schools on this side, our tuition is higher. We have a lot more schools that we have to compete against when it comes to recruiting. When you talk about my recruiting, I got to deal with Texas A&M, Texas, Baylor, Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin, HBU, U of H, and the list goes on and on.
Right.
In Alabama, you have Alabama, University of Alabama,
Auburn.
and Auburn,
Yeah.
Clemson, maybe.
Georgia Tech.
Um,
Maybe. Not
well,
really.
no,
No.
that's out of Alabama. The other
Oh,
thing
Alabama,
for
you're right.
Texas,
Uh-huh.
yeah, just straight in Alabama. So
Okay.
you may have 2 or
You
3
got
or 4 schools.
UAB
I
and
got
Birmingham.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a good one.
we have so many schools. Texas is big, and it may look like, oh, you got your pick of the litter, but your top tier athletes in Texas are not trying to go to HBCUs, recruiting them or not. They're not flocking to this campus. They're not flocking to TSU. They're not flocking to come here. Your Texas kids. So that's part of one of the reasons why he's able to do that. Then you have to look at cost of tuition and cost of attendance. So for me to recruit an out-of-state kid, it's $41,000 each year. In-state, it's about $21,000. You have some schools where if you give them $1, their out-of-state tuition is the same as in-state. So if I'm paying $40,000 for a kid, you're getting 3 at my one. So I'm paying more for 1 kid, and you're getting 3 to my 1. So my recruiting of out-of-state kids, and I'm limited, I get what's called waivers. In the state of Texas, the entire state, all schools get a certain number of waivers that they can use. What a waiver does is it allows me to bring that tuition to in-state. I only have 7. So I can technically only recruit if I only have 7 and I've used 5. In that year, I can only recruit 2 out-of-staters. Everybody, otherwise, once I go past that, I got to kick in 40,000 in my budget. Where other places, I can go from Florida to Georgia to North Carolina to Tennessee to Texas to wherever, and my entire team can be out of state. So I can go to Florida and get number 5 in the state, where I'm in Texas and I got to get number 283. So there's a disparity when it comes to the recruiting and the dollar amount. Every university, Division I, women, you're allowed 18 full scholarships in track and field. Men, you're allowed 12.5 full scholarships. What does that mean? So if it costs $40,000, $41,000 to go to Prairie View, in or out of state, and I'm fully funded, I should have $720,000 to work with in my budget just for scholarships. I'm not there, but that's what I should have to work with.
Right.
So that's where you find.
I like this. Make sure you guys are grasping what she's saying right now. Come on. And Kendrick Perkins work.
Yes.
Carry on.
So when I recruit, if I'm going to get an international student, I'm paying that full, because they don't get any Texas grant, nothing. Nothing comes along to help me along the way with that. So I have to pay fully for that kid. So when you call me as a coach or a parent and say, Coach, I got this kid that has a lot of potential. Can you take care of him for me? My answer will be no, because they have to have met the standards that I require for me to take $40,000 in that year to work with that kid, because I need that kid to help me. So you have that disparity when it comes to that. The other thing is, you have in this conference certain schools that really can't recruit. They don't have the budget. They don't have the scholarships. And so the teams that are heavier in money and scholarships, they rule the world. The teams that are lower when it comes to budget and money, it's difficult to get those athletes in there because you can't take care of them. And so that's where you find that there are some programs that are successful and some that are not. When you look at the Power Fives, it's not about that. They are all fully funded. Now you look at cost of attendance. In college, there's what's called dollar for dollar cost of tuition. what it would cost for me. If I go grocery shopping, I got that grocery list and I add it up, I know exactly what I have. Now, if I want to get that donut or whatever else, every school, based on their tuition, has a cost of attendance gap. That may be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. That's where you hear people saying about cost of attendance.
Right.
Some schools are able to refund that money to that student athlete because they give them, they're fully funded, so they can give them that cost of attendance. Schools and at HBCUs, some programs are able to do so to build their programs, but the school financially can't afford to give you that cost of attendance. So now you have parents and students that are negotiating based on the money that they're going to get, and they fall into issues because you might be getting that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, but what hell are you going through on that campus? What is taking place on that campus? Do you like the coach? Do you like the athletes? Do you like the atmosphere? Are you being trained well? All these things go out of the window when you're looking at, well, I'm gonna get $4,000 or $5,000 every semester or something. You put the money over everything else that you should really be looking at. The other thing that you have at schools that don't really function when it comes to financial aid stuff, if I'm getting cost of attendance, I can also fill out my FAFSA. If I'm Pell worthy, I'm going to get another $7,000 for that year above that cost of attendance. So when you look at a kid and they're being recruited and they say, well, I can actually get about $9,000 a year, $10,000 a year beyond my scholarship, they tend to negotiate and go to those schools, not looking at everything else that comes with it.
Wow.
And now that's why a transfer portal looks like it does.
Okay. Wait a minute. Are y'all having transfer portal? Do they transfer in track like they transfer in them other sports?
Oh, yes. You have, but in track, what happens, unfortunately, some of them get stuck in the portal. And what athletes don't understand is once you go in that portal, you have now given up your scholarship. Once you go in that portal, a coach does not have to work with you ever again. You have given up your scholarship. Going in the portal does not guarantee you, unless you have a coach that's willing to work with you and say, for example, I'll give you a prime example. If you have a kid that is out of state,
Okay.
and their mom or dad ends up with cancer, you're at a school in another state. You want to be closer to your parent. You really love the school. You love what's going on, but the distance is so far that you would like to be at a school where your parents are. Coaches will work with you with that. But when you just decide, well, this ain't working, I don't like my teammate, the coach ain't giving me enough attention, I'm not getting enough money, and you transfer to another school, all you're doing is transplanting the problem somewhere else. You're not taking care of business where you are. And y'all know how I went through the process with DJ, and people were actually upset with me that I let him go to Oral Roberts. People were upset with me that I let him play at South Falls High School, which is less than 50 yards from my house. Okay? But
why would he upset with you, Coach?
Well, Oral Roberts was not going to the NCAA tournament. They were on the bottom of their conference. They were like, oh, Roberts, what are you doing? But here's what my son, and I say, he wasn't going to a school to fit in. He was going to a school to make things happen. And things are happening at Oral Roberts. So he's not looking at, well, NBA is going to come looking at me here if I go to this school or that school. If you're good, they're going to find you. I don't care where you are. They're going to find you. You have to go somewhere where, if you cannot be an athlete again, through whatever circumstances, that school is where you want to be. You're not leaving that school because the coach is this, or I don't like the teammates, or the food ain't good, or this or that or the other. That place and space that you chose, you can live without the sport that you're in. And that's what DJ did, because he loves where he is. Wow. So I think if people looked at it more of, if you're going to school for 4 years, now if you're going to school and you're not really into school, because I know when DJ was doing AAU, I would ear hustle and hear kids in the gym with a 1.5 GPA, and I'm like, you can't be in a gym with a 1.5 or
Hello.
1.8. You can't. That just college is. If you're not academically solid, you cannot participate. So if you're not academically solid, you're not a good employee. I can't use you. You're ineligible. You can't help me if you're not academically solid. So if you don't want to go to class, you don't want your paycheck. It's not just being an athlete. So when you go pro, it's different. But also, you got to understand, when you go pro, you get injured, somebody else is waiting to take your place. You don't play well, somebody else is waiting to take your place. It transcends across everything. So if you look at it that way, if I'm going and I'm saying I want to be a pro, I'm going to leave early. Go to a school where you can get everything that you need. And even if you go pro, that door is still open for you to come back and go to school because you want to get your degree. Because you don't know if you're going to survive in the pros. There are 400 slots in pro basketball.
450.
450.
That's it.
From junior college to D1, D2, NAIA, there are thousands and thousands of schools and thousands of young men. The demand is not as much as the supply that you have out there when it comes to the sport. I was at a tournament one day at Rice, and I overheard a parent. He was talking. His son played football and basketball, and his father said, "We're not focusing on his basketball. It got more slots in football than it got in basketball, and we going football next year because he won't be able to do it in basketball." So when you evaluate stuff like that, you tend to make a educated decision on where you want. But I tell my parents, academic first, athletics will take care of itself. Because when you don't do well academically on a college campus, you have lost your scholarship and you have lost your ability to compete on a collegiate level. Period. Nobody can fix that for you.
Hey, she preaching today, ain't she?
Man, you
she
see, I ain't saying nothing, man.
Hey,
I'm gonna go play this back. I'm gonna play this back today.
Like, we need one of them organ players over in the church. They got the pecan taupe stockings on, them old dog stockings on. To get up right there and get to the organ and just start hitting them hymns.
Hey, we updated now. I'm gonna give her something else. I'm gonna give her a glockenspiel. That's an instrument you wouldn't know if you ain't playing the band. Here you go.
So now you mentioned something and you hit, and I hope that some people caught it. You were talking about the budgets,
yes,
and of the programs. And
yes,
the reason I'm gonna bring this up, just in the past 5 days, there was a huge cover story article in the Houston Chronicle, whereas one of the legislators in the state of Texas, who's from the Texas Southern University, by the way, he finds himself fighting tooth and nail for Prairie View, and I'm gonna explain you guys why. And I know you're familiar with this to a certain degree, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit to put up to be able to understand what's going on and what's been going on for years. Here's the deal. Back in around 1862, right? The U.S. government, right? They designed multiple colleges. Matter of fact, I want to paraphrase. I'll read this to you. It's a paragraph. The U.S. government designed multiple colleges focused on agriculture and mechanical arts and allocated federal aid with the Morrill, Morrill Act of 1862. Because education for Black students was excluded from this act. The second Morrill Act of 1890, 28 years later, gave 19 HBCUs, including Prairie View A&M, the same designation to help strengthen research and teaching, according to the government's website. Federal funding is often expected to be matched dollar for dollar by the state unless the institution applies for a waiver or forfeits their funding. Let me say this last sentence again. This is law from 1890. You guys can look this up. MORRILL, the Morrill Act. It designated 19 HBCUs, including Prairie View, that the government would match the the state would match the funding from the government, dollar for dollar. Just understand it. So here's what the deal. Let me fast forward over to right now, what just happened, and what's been happening in recent years at Prairie View. Well, first of all, let me give you Texas A&M. Texas A&M got $94 million from the government in 2019.
Federal government.
Yes.
Okay.
They got $196 million from the state of Texas.
Okay.
That's more than dollar for dollar. Okay. That's almost 2 for 1.
Okay.
Now, Prairie View in the same year got $23 million from the government. Ask me how much they get from the state.
Nothing.
$4 million. So Jarvis Johnson is the legislature. Jarvis Johnson from Wheatley High School. Jarvis Johnson had a son that played basketball, and he was a city councilman in Houston. Now he's in the legislature in Texas. Once again, the government gave Prairie View $23 million, and it's by law we're supposed to match it dollar for dollar. They got $4 million.
So who's fighting to get the rest of that money?
Right now, it's good question.
I'm not sure, because we're in a system. Yeah. TSU is not in a system. We're in a Texas A&M system.
Yes.
So that would have to, and I'm not going to speak out of turn because I'm not the president, nor am I a part of the Texas A&M system with who runs it. They would have to be the ones to fight for that money for Prairie View because we belong in that system. So it would have to come from the higher ups to go ahead and say, where's our money?
I got something else for you. Mackenzie Scott gave y'all, I think, about $60 million. $50 million. Do that go to the university just for academics? In your knowledge, do any of that dwindles down into the sports department? If it puts you on the spot, no. That's just me. Just hey, Miss whatever the president up there at A&M. This me asking that question because I talked about Mackenzie Scott and her generous gift. I just want to know I just wanted to know where the money.
Well, here's my short answer for that as a coach. I hope I get some of that money.
Say no more.
That's all I could say.
Say no more. Say no more.
Yeah.
I'm good. That's all right. What else you got, Jim?
Yeah, this is something that's, and if you're an alumni of the school and you realize galvanized power, those phone calls, they could make a difference. Get in touch with your local.
I got a question. How many years they been not giving us this money? Because they might owe us back pay. How many? Since night? Hold on now, Jimmy. This is important. We can go from 1890 on up. How, Jimmy? That's the money that was supposed to be given. We didn't make the rules.
I don't think it worked like that, Hal.
But Jimmy, we didn't make the rules. Did you say hold up? Did you say by law? Hold on. You said up there in red so eloquently. By law. So by law, can't we get us some back payments?
Well, it's like any budget. How the budget is year to year. So either you use it or you lose it. Or if you don't get it, then it goes to the next one.
So
Yes. But here's how you don't lose money. And university dollars, you have to be very careful with, because there's grant money that flows through the university that has to be used specifically for what it is written to. Financial aid dollars, you have to be careful, because financial aid is very, very delicate. If we have a student that comes in, and we have to do the 12-day census to make sure that those kids are actually in class. If a kid does not follow through, and they've received their financial aid dollars, and then they leave the university, that university owes that money to a certain extent. Those kids leaving hurt the university when they only come in, and some do come in when they get that Pell refund, they're done. And what they don't understand is they're hurting the university when they do that. You have to actually come to school to actually want to get a degree and to learn. You can't turn it into a racket where I'm a register for classes. I'll go to class for this period of time. Once my refund hit, I'm not going to show up. I got F's on my transcript. Now I owe student loans, plus the university owes money back. So that's why the wheels kind of turn slow when it comes to money at universities, because you have to be very, very careful and know that you're utilizing those dollars in the way that you're supposed to use them. Foundations operate differently. So when you have an athletic foundation, you have the 12th Man Foundation. Texas has their foundation. I remember when the pandemic first hit, and they were saying the football coach needed to cut his salary because he was making 3 point whatever million a year. But that foundation is fully funded. They're not pulling money from the university to pay his salary. You have a base salary that you get from the university, and then if the foundation goes out and raises money, or if money is put into the foundation in a certain way, the bulk of the salary comes from there.
Right.
So when you look at this person is making $3 million, well, they might have a deal with TV, with revenue, all those different things build their salary.
Right.
The university itself may not be paying that salary. So you have to be really careful when it comes to university dollars, where they go and how they're spent. So that $50 million may have come in with terms. It may just be for academics, and you can't take that money and use it for anything else.
I got to call Mackenzie then. I got to call her, but keep going.
Yes. Anybody that donates money to a university, they come with stipulations on how that money is spent, how they want it spent, and where it goes. And if you go against that, the university is then in trouble.
You are absolutely right, because I'll never forget the first time I heard about Robert F. Smith is when he gave the 50 million or 50, 60 million to Cornell. That's supposed to be the richest black man now. He gave that money. A lot of people didn't know nothing about him, but he earmarked it. He said this money can only be used to black STEM and computer guys, and not just in New York. Don't just go get me the kids in New York. I want you to scour the country and get me the brightest minds. That's how you're going to spend this money. He earmarked it. You can't spend. I got a question. Is that something in your office is going off a little sound?
My computer just went.
Oh, okay.
That means I just.
Okay, I just wanted to know. I thought it was mine. See, I always like to know what's going on with the show. I thought it was some Jimmy. Jimmy thought it was his air conditioner or something over there, but it was yours. Okay, I just wanted to know. Okay. So people want you. We got to get you off the show. Seems like some people are trying to email you. You feeling me? But
it's all my too.
Let me tell you, Angela, this is, and I don't pit shows against. This thing was so informative to me that I'm just sitting here saying, I never knew track. I didn't run track. I played basketball. I didn't know you have to work those situations like that out. Yeah. It's amazing to me. The things you learn.
There's the programs that you have to give full, like basketball. They have a certain amount of scholarships. You can't break those scholarships up.
Right.
It's either a full or nothing.
Right.
And I've been around basketball players, and they're like, this school has a scholarship available. Why aren't they recruiting me? Well, you might be a forward and they need a guard. You have to fill the slots based on what the needs are. And if you want to go to that university, then you pay your way to that university. I don't understand what is wrong with if I want to go to Prairie View This is the school that I want to go to. And I don't qualify for academic money or athletic money. Why are you trying to force me to give you a scholarship to somewhere that you want to go? Pay to go there and earn your way to an academic
But
scholarship.
they ain't got no
Earn your
money.
way.
Angela, if they have it all in those situations, they might not have no money either.
But what is wrong with taking out a loan to invest in yourself for a year? Take a chance on yourself,
Hold up. Hold
right?
up. So you take
Why
out
not
a,
take a chance on
you
yourself?
take out a loan at 18, but the banks won't and put you in debt to come out of college to make a job, to get a job that you can't afford to pay all of these loans back. I'm
You
just
said 1 year. Her scenario
no,
was
no, no,
1
no, no,
year.
no, no, no. I ain't talking about what you said. I'm just talking about I know some people that's in this situation right now. They took a loan for all 4 years. Okay, this ain't no athlete.
Yeah.
I'm talking
No,
about
I'm not saying-
people. I ain't talking
yeah.
about sports right now. I'm talking
General,
about people.
right? Your students, students.
And these same 18 years olds can get in debt like that, Angie. But
Yeah.
they won't give these same 18-year-olds a loan to start a business.
That's true. That's true.
I'm just talking about what's going on out here. I'll give you a loan to go to school so you can be in my
Right.
debt. Because I know people. I'm telling you, my son was at lunch with people. He talked about a few months ago, and he was just talking about, "Thank you, Dad." I said, "Thank you for what?" He said, "Man, I'm at a table. All these people got to pay off student loans, and I don't owe nobody nothing." I said,
Yeah.
"Consider yourself blessed." And yes, you
Yep.
did, and you did the right thing to say, "Thank you, Dad."
Yep. That's the value of a scholarship. And so when people are asking me for a scholarship, and it blows my mind sometimes. I had a parent that called me in May or June. The application process is closed. Her daughter had a 3.8 overall GPA. She had 12 something on the SAT. Here at Prairie View, she qualified for an $80,000 4-year scholarship over the 4 years. But she was running a 57 or 58 in the 400. That's not scholarship worthy because you got to be running 54, 55.
Okay.
Did not apply to schools to get the academic scholarship. She was trying to run faster to get the athletic scholarship. And it blew my mind because I'm like, you have a scholarship to college. I don't care what pool is coming from.
baby.
It come from the intramural team. You got a full scholarship. All she had to do was apply. And you would have gotten a full 4-year scholarship. So if you didn't even want to be an athlete anymore, you're like, well, I don't want to be an athlete. School is paid for. But you're trying to bust you paid for a recruiting firms to push your child out there. You're not running fast enough to get an athletic scholarship, but you're doing well academically to get an academic scholarship. And you're letting that sit instead of utilizing it. Blows my mind.
Oh my goodness, we've been talking about this for 5 years on this show.
Blows my mind.
It's the basketball players that's smart, that got those possibilities and opportunities sitting in front of them. Man, I got to go D1. Man, I got to have a D1 scholarship. Dude, that
Yeah.
money coming out of dude, it's money. We got to do a better job, Angie. We got to do a better job of having people like you.
We do.
Angie, I'm telling you, we gonna have to, and I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna put it in the air. We would love for you to come. Anytime you say, hey man, I got some time, because I mean, the way you explain it to them, that's a different ear. We've been saying this for 5 years, but I know I can tell by my comments and the no comments, it's some people over here just taking notes. They ain't got time to type. You follow me? So
well, here's what I can give you for
Okay.
those parents in any sport that's out there. If your kid isn't being recruited,
okay.
and I'm not trying to take business away from anybody, Basketball players, you got huddle film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go and pay a firm or anybody for you to see my huddle. The high school coaches have their huddle accounts. And if you want somebody to see what you can do, you let them go into your huddle and they can see what you can do.
Okay.
For a track athlete, if you're not being recruited, you can email the coach. You can find out, what are your standards? Why am I not being recruited? Some will answer their phones, some will not. If you have to realistically look at it. If you want to go to LSU and you're a 60-point 400-meter runner, you're not going to go to LSU as an athlete. You got to be running 52, 53. So you have to look at it realistically, and people have to talk to them realistically. But if you're a solid student and you want to go to that school, apply to that school. And most of your Texas schools, you don't even have to pay the application fee. It's waived. Apply to the school to try to get in academically, and then you approach that coach. Do you take walk-ons? Can I come and try out for your program? I wasn't recruited here. I see I'm 5 seconds off or this or that. Will you give me an opportunity? That's the way they should really look at it, versus saying, well, my kid can come and help you. It might take a year or two, but give me your money. You can't do that. It just doesn't work that way. And then if you know your kid has issues, if they have drug problems, if they don't want to go to class, if they have injuries that you're trying to hide, please disclose to the coach, so when the kid shows up, they're not in a nightmare.
Wow.
And now they got to, I got to pay for you. It's like I'm paying for you for that full year regardless.
Right.
And now I got to go out and find somebody else to replace what you sent me that you already knew had issues. It is unfair to a coach. It is unfair to a university. And then when that year is up, because you signed 1-year deals, I don't have to give you a reason as to why you're non-renewed. I don't have to. It is a 1-year contract. So I don't have to sit down with you and break it down. You didn't come to practice this time and that time and that. You gave me that 1 year. It didn't work out. I'll see you later. But don't send your kids who you know don't really want to be there. They're there for a reason. They're going to use it and move on. Just like you look at coaches who move on to other places, kids do the same thing. And it's not fair. It's a business. And you need to look at it as, this is a business, and what am I providing to that university?
Jim, we got a lot of questions.
I mean, definitely well said, and well, you put it where the goats can get it in regards to today. Now, a lot of people, we hope that you guys take heed and can utilize some of the nuggets that Coach Angela Williams have placed out there for your knowledge. Once again, it's Angela Williams, head women's track and field and cross country coach at Prairie View A&M University. We definitely we applaud you on Women Rock Wednesday, and that's, a lot of people didn't know what they were getting. Sorry for those who we didn't get to your questions earlier. We handled as many as we saw. Sometimes we often don't see them all because the screens are rolling so fast. But we will continue the conversation, and hopefully we have updates on a few things, and progress is being made, especially with this funding stuff.
And the name, image, and likeness. I know you know.
And the name, image, likeness, and that was the last topic that we had on the board. And we will give you an opportunity to just touch on it in a sense to let people understand. Name, image, likeness. Today is the day that the NCAA will officially put the new guidelines or the interim guidelines in place. It goes into effect on tomorrow, July the 1st. Well, HBCUs with the name, image, likeness. Can you give us a quick crash course on how student athletes that has a pretty decent social media following, or just a pretty stellar student athlete that is incoming into you, a school, on HBCU, how they would probably be able to benefit with their name, image, likeness in reality, and what your school has done in particular, if they've done anything else for uh, with their student athletes, so they can be
Yeah.
prepared going into this new life changing territory.
I have to look at what we've received. I did receive, DJ received a notification from Oral Roberts University. They broke everything down to them on how that works. The question that I would ask every parent out there when it comes to name and making money off of the name, the first question you have to ask yourself is who's going to buy my son's jersey or who's going to buy my daughter's jersey? How valuable, even with all the Twitter and all this stuff out there. Yes, you're Instagram famous and this, that, and the other, but who is actually coming to the gym, coming to the track to see you perform? Who is paying? Because on some college campuses, students get in free. It's a part of their student fees. So the gym can be full. And especially at HBCUs, the gyms are full, but there's no cost in coming in that gym, especially to your students. So you have to ask yourself when it comes to that, what is my worth? And what am I bringing to the table when it comes to that worth? And how much money can I realistically make? This is going to separate your better athletes, your Power Fives, even further than anything else to me, because those athletes that are seen on TV, that people are coming to see them, that you have NBC, CBS, all of the TV stations that show your sports and stuff like that. I'll use Zion Williamson, for example. They said the gym was full when Zion Williamson played. Somebody's going to buy his jersey. He's bringing people to the stands. He's bringing money to the university. So you're going to have those that aren't doing it, but feel like, well, the gym is full. I should get some of that money too. But you have to know your worth. And I think it's going to muddy the waters because people are not realistic about their worth right now when it comes to sports.
And you've been reading my book. you've been listening to this show. But cause we think the same way. And but we just got so much know your worth. And
You got to know your worth.
And by the way, that jersey, that university owned that particular jersey.
Yeah. And you'll get a percentage. If it's in the bookstore or anywhere else, you're not getting what somebody paid for it. You're going to get a percentage of what was sold in that bookstore or around campus or things like that. So everybody shouldn't do a mass run and go out and get a lawyer and an agent and I'm about to make all this money. It's not going to happen. It just not. And then what you have to understand is once you accept that responsibility of your name being on a jersey and everything else, now you got to look at who are you? What is your character? What are you doing that people are seeing? Because putting your jersey on means that I look up to you. I idolize you. So you can't have people wanting your jersey. And then it's a madhouse out there when it comes to who you are and what you do. You are accepting a responsibility of leadership when it comes to that, the way I look at it. When I put on a PVAMU shirt, when my athletes put on a PVAMU uniform, you are representing the university and myself. And so I don't expect for anybody to come back and say, hey, your athlete, this, that, or the other, because I will remove that jersey. Thank you so much, because I don't need that out there like that. You have to be a good representation of this university. So when you want people to pay for you, you have to be a good representation of yourself.
I got something else for you, Angie, right quick. I'm glad you brought this up because this came up in a conversation because I've been on the phone talking to people about this all morning. Angie, how you gonna manage your time? Because if let's say somebody won't endorse you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you know you have to have a photo shoot sometime? Don't you have to make appearance sometime? How do you manage your time being an athlete? You already ain't got time.
You don't have time. Plus, when the money is coming in, somebody has to manage your money. You need an accountant. You need a tax person. You need somebody, just like the pros go through it.
Yes.
And then whoever's managing your money, are they managing your money in your best interest? So a lot of things comes along with it. It's not just, oh, my jersey is purchased. So the universities, I'm assuming, because I know DJ's school, they're going to have a meeting with them and go through the process. The coaches are going to go through the processes of that. My take on it, I look at when coaches sign contracts, you have bonus situations set up in your contracts. If your APR, which is your score, your academic score for your team, you get a bonus. If you make it to the first round of NCAA, your school gets a bonus. Next round, you get more money. Next round, you get more money. For track and field, if you go to the NCAA championship, it might be 1 month salary. I think for athletes, if it were more bonus type situations, that recognizes your value versus an overall thing, it may work out a little bit better because people will start looking at what their worth is. So if I'm going to win a championship and you're going to get a ring, but you're just on a roster, you haven't contributed to that ring. So you haven't contributed to getting a bonus. It's the people who actually do the work that need to get the money. And so I personally think it's going to be crazy in the beginning because people have a warped sense of what their value is and what they bring to the table, especially in sports that are subjective. And
I think this is I love it because the quicker you bring reality into existence, the better it is. Because I rather you to find this out that you ain't worth a quarter in your first year than to go all the way down to be a senior and find out you ain't worth a quarter. At least as a freshman, you got a chance to buckle on up. Now you can realize I'm gonna go on and get this degree.
Yeah.
A senior mess around and just drop out of school and say the hell with it. And you done wasted everybody's time. So that's what I like about it, because a lot of people who thought they were at a certain place, they're going to see it. Now those who have 6-digit social media accounts will have a chance to get some gas money out of the deal. And guess what? Some people, if you're looking around, especially like HBCUs, don't give the full cost of attendance in some cases, and some of them. Well, guess what? Some of them kids, they just want to get in the club and be able to get but you can't. Well, alcohol businesses won't be able to benefit off of the name, image, likeness. Now I know that I'm sure they're gonna pencil that in. But for example, some of them just want to get in the turkey leg hut and don't have to stand in line. And so guess what? If you're the star player at University of Houston and I can get, and you have a big following, you have 200,000 followers on social media, and if you're gonna tweet my business out once every week, I'll let you in.
Yeah,
I'll give you a turkey leg.
And the other part of that is, someone now is selling your jersey in another state. You don't even know. They're making money off of you. You have to now have eyes out there to see what's going on here. You got to patent yourself. It's just so broad, and things that you have to do that I think it makes it very, very difficult. I believe that athletes that are bringing money to a university, and you have to look at it this way. Again, I go back to how much it costs to go to a university. So if it costs $60,000 a year to go to that university, that's your salary. That's what I'm paying, $60K. Now you're getting cost of attendance. It may be $9,000. So I'm paying $69,000 for you to go to this university annually. Now you're bringing in how much to the stands? How many are you bringing in more than $69,000 worth of people to the stands for me to now give you even more money? And when you start looking at it like that, you can kind of see what your value is. If only your family of 5 people or 6 people came to see you run and actually paid to come see you run, what have you brought monetarily to the program? The other thing that people don't understand too is your high revenue generating sports pay for your Olympic sports. So now, if I'm taking what's coming in from the NCAA, because each step you go in the NCAA, that money goes back to the university, and there are contracts with the conferences where if my team makes it to the Final Four, everybody in the conference gets paid. That money just doesn't come to my university. It doesn't just go to people at the NCAA. That money is dispersed in a lot of different places. So when you say, I want all the money, now schools are going to be looking at, well, I can't fund this bowling program. I can't fund this golf program. I can't fund this tennis program because I have no money coming in from anywhere else to help me fund this program.
You got it, man. You hit around on the, hey,
Boy,
what we're going to do is we're going to let you drop the mic right there.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
mic.
Yeah, that's a mic drop right there.
We're going to, we're in extreme overtime right now and on the Chop Shop. And we want to thank you guys. Thank everyone for tuning in and chopping it up with us on the Chop Shop. Thank you, Coach Angela Williams, for providing all this great intel. As once again, we will continue this conversation in the very near future.
Yeah.
We want once again, and we thank you and applaud you for conquering. Another topic we left on the table was being a single household parent and navigating through the recruiting waters successfully to get your son to safe ground. What you mentioned earlier, DJ, who's at Oral Roberts, people laughed at you and whispered under their breath when you sent your son to Cypress Falls High School, and then later to Oral Roberts. And it's funny as hell because ironically, some of those same people, where were they when a couple of years, 4 years later, Cypress Falls High School won the state championship? Then in a couple of years after that, 4 years after that, actually that was in 2017. In 2021, 4 years later, Oral Roberts finds themselves in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament, the farthest they had ever been in the history of the program. And so I would strongly encourage you, as I do everybody else, to go whenever you cross paths and have a good opportunity in a non-antagonizing way. Remind those folks who tried to get you, sway you off your own.
She ain't like you, Jimmy.
No, it's a good way to do it. Just remind them. Just sometimes if you don't remind them, then they might think they got over. Remind them, look, hey, remember now, you owe me a shot. They're going to say, oh, you a shot for what? Get a bottle right now and just pour a shot. You owe me 2 shots. Why? Because 1, you told me you tried to get my son not to go to South Falls, and 2, you tried to get him not to go to Oral Roberts. So drink me 2 shots right now. I need you to be wobbly right now. I'll get you an Uber. Leave your car keys on the table.
This is what I like for you guys to do for me. DJ is my prayer is that he stays healthy. He has been riddled with injuries. I think, and I think it has happened because DJ went from 0 to 60. He was never really playing ball. He went from starting to play and he elevated so quickly and his joints and everything just wasn't ready. But he has been so tenacious, so dedicated. He is graduating in December early with his degree. He is in graduate school to get his master's in entrepreneurship. And my prayer, and I'd like for y'all to pray for him, that he stays healthy, and he would like to make it to the next level. I think he has the ability, but even if he doesn't, he has done all the things that he should do as a young man to make himself successful in this society. And that's my prayer that I want to continue for him. The last destination is not the NBA. It is for him to be as successful in anything that he tackles in life. And so far, he's on the right path.
That's awesome. You just made my day. Because that's
indeed. And we definitely appreciate it. And we got DJ on and on heart and in our minds. We definitely got him covered on this end. But once again, it is that time, guys. You know what it is. It's time to slide down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing on Women Rock Wednesday. Hey, make sure you know the routine. Share the show on your way out the door. And that's how we do this.
Okay.
man.
Shatter show
Okay.
on the way out the door.
Share the show as you leave out the door. Okay.
Yeah,
Not the
And
door.
anytime
No. Jimmy, not the door.
Share the show as you leave out the door.
door.
I got
The
it.
door.
Right.
Yeah.
She ain't an English teacher. She a track and field
Oh,
coach.
she's so eloquent. Oh my God. I can't wait to go back and watch the show. She is unbelievable to me. But out the door, Jimmy. Shatter show
Yeah.
on the way out the door.
And you have me anytime you need me. Any topic
Okay.
that you need me
We got
to
you.
give you insight on. If I have it,
Yeah.
if I know it, I got you.
I got you. Done deal. I can't wait to see DJ. As soon as I get off this show, son, I'm praying for
Give
you,
him a call.
man. I'm praying for you, Doc, because let me tell you something. I, as a dad who had a kid that was always through college, was riddled with injury because his little bitty self always trying to mix it up with them big old guys, and he just always got hurt. If you put him against LeBron James, he gonna get hurt. But I promise you, you're in my prayers. But you're gonna you're gonna do so many great things. Your mom just said the NBA is not your destination. It's just a place you might stop, and you got other things to fry, son. And that's my prayer for you today. But Jimmy, get your butt off. We talk about something else, and you talk about getting you a drink. That's all you know how to do is get you a sip. I'm gonna give you that bottle you want. I got
Read
that
my
bottle
cup.
to give you.
Read my cup.
What is that? Okay, Mr. Thirsty.
Mr. Thirsty.
No, I not. You's a hater.
Read my cup. I'm gone, guys. We the chop shop. Y'all.
He's a hater. He's a hater. We out.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter, you are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro, let's get it. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop